Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
And welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. I am so excited today to bring to you some fantastic information that I feel like everyone should know. And it's really cracking the code to unleashing that gift, those gifts, that geniuses that we have within us. And I have a special guest today that's going to talk to us about the human design centers that are within us, that I promise you, this is not something that you come across in your education. I know I didn't, unless you're going to seek for this information. But this is so valuable because it truly helps us to understand who we are, what our potentials are, and how we can live this life to the fullest. So without any more ado, I am going to introduce to you my special guest, Ta Groen. And welcome. I am so honored to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, Gigi. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Please tell us about you and what you do and how important it is, because your work can truly be the secret to people's lives and how they can really live the best life. So
Wonderful. Yes, I have been in human design since 2006. I went through a teacher program that's 3 years, takes 3 years to graduate from the International Human Design School. So my fascination with this knowledge has been for a long time. And I'm so happy now because if you go to Instagram, it is like blowing up. Everybody's talking about human design now. So I'm just so fortunate that I've been able to live it for so long and understand it on a cellular level. So I've been a yoga teacher for over 25 years. And one of my private clients, she got a reading from somebody in Hawaii by the name of John Martin. And then she gifted me a reading, and then she gifted me the training. And so that's how I came into becoming an analyst. She wanted me to have the knowledge because she knew that I would really spread it out there and share it. So yeah,
that's what we're doing here today. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So just can you give us a small eyes view synopsis of what it is and what it does for us, and then we can get more narrow focusing on the individual centers and really go deep.
Yeah. So what is human design and why is it good for us, or what will it do for my life? Well, first of all, it's based on birth time, date, and location. So having an accurate birth time is really important. And it, I'm very cognitive of mind stuff. So these are mind questions. I have a strong defined mind in human design. And so my first question was, where does it come from? What does it make, what creates this fascinating mandala? Because it's a mandala, and it is planets. It's the chakra system. So you have 9 centers in the body. It's the Kabbalah and the genetic code. And it all lines up to create this gorgeous mandala. And it's based on birth time, date, and location. And it gives you a map of your aura, of your energy signature on the planet. And it has this broad concept of aura, right? of what's around us. And in human design, there's 4 different types of auras. We have a projector, a manifester, a generator, and a reflector. So it gives you a beautiful 3-dimensional map of your energy field.
Wow. And I know we don't usually tap into this. We don't even know, some of us don't even know what this is, or know that we can use our energy aura to guide us,
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what
Whether,
it
yeah.
does.
And I'll go into the next question, because I had things in mind that I wanted to ask as it relates to personal growth, self-acceptance, and how this information would lead us to really understand what our strengths are, what our gifts are.
Oh,
So
yes. So the first step to understanding human design is to know the aura type. And the majority of our planet has this strong battery within us, and we call it a generative force, a generator. So 70% of the planet has this mechanism where their body responds to life. Okay.
it's like a life force energy. Is that what you mean?
Exactly, exactly. It is what creates health, vitality. It's what lights you up. So that question of what makes you tick, or what should I be doing with my life? Well, what lights you up.
It's
That's
like
it.
what makes the heart beat,
Yeah.
right? What makes your heart beat?
Yeah. And so it's true. It's something that we respond to within the body, and it bypasses the mind, right? And it goes into the body mechanics. But society has conditioned us to weigh the pros and the cons. And so everybody in the head making decisions from their head, and that creates frustration.
Totally.
Frustration.
Because it's too much chaos. As I say, there's
Yeah.
so much chaos on the outside that we are driven. There's so much of it, but it's, some people allow that to consume them, and they make their decisions based on the chaos
Exactly.
versus centering, going in, listening to their voice, putting their
Right.
hand on their heart,
And
and
taking
going within and working from
a deep
within.
breath and connecting and aligning into the body,
Yes.
because the body will guide you.
That will lead me into the next question, because the mind, the head, and the heart are really the drivers of our life. And what we just
Absolutely.
said, right? So, what we said before was, we're so much in our head, we're forgetting the heart.
Right. And what's fascinating about the concept of the 9 centers in human design is that once you're able to sense the different energies in the body, you'll realize what's speaking, to the mind. So, for example, my open root center. So, first of all, can I share with what is open and
Sure, please clarify.
so when you get your human design chart, you have these 9 centers.
Let me bring it up so they can see mine, so at least they can have a picture of,
That would be helpful.
yeah, so they can
Yes.
see.
Excellent. Excellent. So this is Gigi's chart. She's a emotional generator. It's so beautiful that you're able to bring this up. So those are the 9 centers. So we go from the top down to the bottom. And so the center that I was describing that throws me off is the one at the bottom, the root center. So, for example, that center will tell me to hurry, 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 rush, rush, and it's white in my chart. It's white, and it's where I gain my wisdom. So anything that's open or white in your chart, that is not truly your aura. it is a space. It's like an open puzzle piece. It's a space that's getting sort of touched by people who are coming into your auric field. So for example, Gigi's got hers colored in, so she's rooting me down. She's sort of grounding me. She's like, okay, Ta, we're gonna settle down. We're gonna ground you. You're gonna take some of my solid, energetic flow, right? And so then the open space for Gigi is the ego center. And so then that's what's speaking to her mind. Did you remember how I described that for you?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to know that I can, just from this information, know that I can tap into, my inner strength.
Yeah, that wisdom, that place of knowing, or the sensitivity of knowing what is of value, what is going to be productive for us. It's the center of willpower.
A willpower.
Yeah, and it's we call that the heart center. So you have this wide open heart center that knows value. Isn't that incredible?
Totally incredible. And I feel it because I think that part of me is what opens up to others.
Yes, yes.
Right? It's what says, I'm here to help.
Yes, I could feel that. And then look at all of your color, though. Not everybody has this much color in their chart, Giovanni.
Well, I have to tell you, I love colors. So.
And this means that you're making this powerful presence, and when you are in alignment, your impact on everybody around you is profound. Yeah.
Well,
whereas envision it the opposite, where somebody only has two centers. They're vulnerable, and there's no good or bad in human design. It just means that their sensitivity, their openness to the other is so vast that they need to step away when there's maybe somebody like this who's coming into the room and not in alignment. They're gonna get overwhelmed with that other person's energy. So that's sort of hard to
navigate.
Yeah, hard to navigate. And I want to say it's a beautiful vulnerability. And if you had, say, as a mother, and I knew that I had a child with all of those open centers, what would I do? I would have so much more compassion, right? For her sensitivities. We would look at her and go, oh, now I understand why it's so difficult for her to walk into a room of all of these people and she doesn't know them. This sweetness, this sort of gentle, warm compassion that comes when you know somebody's human design. Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to, I know I had a few questions on how does this information, and I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how does it influence our thinking, our communication, our decision-making, our creativity, right? Because we are creative beings, and how does this become the driver? But I'm gonna just take a quick break, and when we come back, Ty's gonna explain that to us. So let's, here's a quick break from our sponsor, E360 TV. Okay, welcome back. And yeah, let's hear more. This is so exciting. Like I'm like looking at um my what did they say? My fingerprints. I'm looking at my blueprint here, right? Of my life essentially. So yeah,
Exactly.
let's continue.
So I think I want to step back just a little bit because I know all of this can get overwhelming, right? Like, what
Hmm.
are all the centers? What do they mean? And then the mind gets in the way, right?
Of course.
And so the whole experiment with human design is surrender,
All right,
right?
let me take that. Let's remove this and let's talk about that
Yeah.
because that is essential,
Yep.
right? Because when if I understand this surrendering part correctly, is to trust in yourself
Yes.
before you see something. And I that's one of the things that I keep telling my audience is when we surrender, we're believing in ourselves and the higher power. I say God, you may say the universe, infinite intelligence, that energy life force that is that wants everything you want in the best in your best interest.
Yeah.
So
That's so beautiful. That helps me respond to that essence of that energy because that's what human design is about. It's about spirit consciousness within the body mechanics. Okay, trusting that these cues, these inner sensations in your body will guide you. That's what it's about. So there's these authorities. There's an emotional authority, and 50% of the planet. This is so interesting, I know, because everybody's emotional. Yes, everybody has emotions. But based on the human design system, there's beings that have defined or colored in emotional center, which is over there on the right. And
mhm.
then there's 50% who have it open. And so, based on that inner mechanics, right, of the emotional wave, there's two decision making different ways of making decisions, right?
The
The one
emotional.
right, the emotional being, the defined emotional
Mhm.
being needs time to assimilate everything, right? And then the open can just sort of, if they're a sacral, okay, this is so, I know, if they are a pure, the next inner authority is a pure sacral being. So we have an emotional as a top priority. They need time to make decisions. Then we have a pure sacral being who has an open emotional center. It's white. They literally can, oh, yeah, let's go do that. Oh, I want to go to the slide. I want to go swing on the swing now, because
Yeah.
they're inner
They're
light.
just eager to go without
Yeah,
even thinking.
right. Whereas a true emotional being, if you watch an emotional child, you'll go, let me think about it. I'm not sure, or
Is that really tied into emotional or is that really tied into confidence? Right? Because people who are, you know, not that confident will kind of like sit back, look, watch, wait, and then actually they're, when everyone's doing it, that gives them that little push to do it. Like they have to see it to believe it, right? And
right.
then
There, you're so right. There's so many layers to this. And so if because I am a spontaneous being. I can respond immediately. And
Mhm.
if I tune in, I will feel it. Okay. Emotional beings, I'm not an emotional being, so I'm not sure how it goes. But I know that I have a son who needs a lot of time. And that yes, it can be the confidence.
Sure.
You know, But what I was trying to the point being is there's these inner authorities within the body mechanics, and there's also splenic authority.
We're
And
losing a little bit. Okay, you're back on.
and but we are all differentiated, meaning that we have different ways of being in the body, and so there's not one set like each design is incredibly unique, and that's the point of what human design is about. All these layers.
Right, and that just aligns very nicely with, we all bring different gifts. We all have different gifts to offer, right? The talents that we have, you know, are different in such that they're yours and only yours.
Right.
Yeah,
And the surrendering part to that true purpose is the hardest thing, right? And so if we had a shortcut, that this little map that allows us to understand when the mind is talking to us, when the mind is pulling us off the true geometry of the body, like my description of the open root. Like I'm rushing, trying to move from that rushing place, and what do I forget to listen to? My true my true place of vitality, health, and wellness. And then I get pulled off going, oh, I think I need to do that because I have to get that done right now, when my sacral may not be full of vitality for that particular movement. It's all about geometry, moving my body with vitality so that I can have satisfaction instead of frustration, right? Instead of hitting the wall. I trust and I surrender into my body mechanics so that I can create ease and flow in life, and I could be in the right place, meeting the right people, places, and things. And this is a generator strategy. We're here to respond to life so that we can have satisfaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's so true, and I love it because you said it's the easy flow, right?
Yeah.
So I know when I'm having a power struggle with myself, it's because I'm trying to force something that my higher self doesn't want.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And where does that, do you feel that in the body?
Yeah, I would get frustrated. I start getting a headache.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
it's just like I know the tense, my whole body gets tense because it's like I'm trying to make something work, whether it could be a technology issue or, I can sense that.
Yeah, and you're pushing so hard and trying to muster the energy to move through it, when really, if we listen to the guidance, the inner authority, then there will be the vitality. There will be unlimited supply of that vitality. We call it generative force because you're a generator. In yogic terms, we call it Shakti, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that life force.
Let's go to the next question. What are the practical ways in which an individual can tap into the energy of the design centers to maximize their potential?
And find fulfillment.
And
find fulfillment. Yeah, we could go to a different type. We can go to a projector type, okay, because they have a different signature.
Can you go a little bit, what is a projector type? What does that mean?
A projector has a more intimate role with generators, and because again, the open centers is what is pulling in. So projectors have an open sacral, or they have that open place where generators have it filled in. Okay, so it's important to talk, and they're only 22% of the planet. So their strategy is to wait for an invitation. Wait for an invitation to us generators, because you and I are both generators. We have this open, enveloping aura that pulls people, things to us if we're responding correctly. And then you have these projectors who want to guide this energy of generators. But guess what? They have to wait for an invitation into that energy. And if they don't, they're going to end up feeling bitter, rejected, not seen. And this is 22% of the
But they're
planet.
not taking the opportunity, right? So they got the invitation. So can I relate that to people who are just comfortable in their comfort zone and say that they're not maximizing their potential because
Well, yeah, I mean, we all do have aspects of that in us, but these 22% of human design type, the aura type projectors, they operate completely differently than this generator type. So I just wanted to share that. So knowing your aura type is the first step to creating this practical way of living. You know, a projector has to wait for an invitation.
Wow.
To be recognized. Whereas a generator, all we have to do is respond to life and go, aha, let's go there. If you're a pure sacral being. I know these are all keynotes. Remember, I talked to you about how significant words are?
Yes.
Sacral being, inner authority with the sacral. You can be spontaneous and you can feel that response mechanism. But if you are an emotional being, like you are, you're going to have to wait over time and test out the decision. New job, big decisions, new job. How long does it take you to make a move on a career, home, you know, or a purchase? You're not supposed to be spontaneous. You're supposed to wait over a week, you know, even a night before emotional beings make a decision. Because you can be high on your wave and go, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. Oh, and then you can be low on your wave and go, no, I'm not doing that. But wait.
I'm usually a high. I mean,
You're always high?
I used to be, wait, let's see, let's examine. But I've just changed that. I've changed that because I feel that when you wait, you have the monkey voice coming in you and it gives you all the reasons that you can't. Right? So
Right, but that's the mind. This is what we're talking about. This is why human design is so incredibly valuable, because that's your mind. Are you tuning into your body mechanics?
correct.
Remember, we were talking about surrendering into body awareness and body mechanics, and
that
not
goes
not trusting what this mind wants you to do.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
surrender.
And it goes right into the next question because, how is this aligning to the natural flow of the human centers, enhancing our intuitive abilities, because we all have them, and increase our self-awareness.
Yeah. Let me read it again. How does aligning with the natural flow of our human design centers enhance our intuitive abilities and increase self-awareness? Absolutely. This is powerful. And this is why human design is taking off so incredibly, because when you realize some of the pure strengths that you have and you go, that's who I am. You know, you see yourself. And for example, you and I both share a very strong channel called the channel of power. It's from our body. It's over on the left side, and it moves into the sacral. It's called the channel of power. It is connecting our instinct, our strong body instinct, to that generative force. So we're responding to body mechanics in a very we can even hear vibration frequency through sound. Remember we were talking about sound?
Yes.
It's one of those tingly feelings, because the body can hear the off or the truth. The body can hear truth, right?
Of course.
So we can hear the truth in somebody's voice through this channel of power. And so just knowing that, isn't that like wonderful? You're like,
Oh,
oh, I have
absolutely.
that channel, you know.
But
And
that's when you make your decisions, right? Based
yes,
on following that signal, that message.
yeah. And so, but for you specifically, that instinct is a beautiful thing, but then you have the channel of moodiness, where you're only supposed to do things when you're in the right mood. Okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes.
All right, so let's go to the next question. This is a nice one. Can you share some, real examples of clients of success stories that have used this mapping and, has positive experiences from it?
Yes, the one of the most profound stories that I heard was about a woman who has an open throat. Okay, so if you can you share the chart again
Sure.
while I talk about the throat. The throat is an incredible mechanism. So the throat obviously is the third one down,
This
and
one?
yep, the brown square, the third one down from
Hmm.
the top. And when that is open, think about the vulnerability of a throat and the pressure to speak. Even when I'm talking about throat, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a defined throat. You have a defined throat. Majority of the planet have a very consistent and reliable voice, right? Some 30% of humans have this vulnerable throat center that's wide open. Okay, so they're getting pressure to speak. Okay, but we
Meaning speaking in public or speaking out loud, their opinions? What do you mean by
so
getting pressure?
it can go two ways. It can go two ways. An open throat being can talk too much, like start conversations and just blah 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 blah, and then we can't hear them because they're not really connecting to a true theme. They're not waiting to get impacted so that they can come in and amplify, because any open center is amplifying creative, in this case a creative voice. So they're here to come into say a group, and they're standing there, and all of a sudden everybody's voice is getting bigger and their creative sounds are getting large. But if this person comes in and starts doing their own thing, nobody can hear them because it's wide open. Does that make sense? So anyways, I wanted to set that up. It's a complex idea, but this is a beautiful story. Okay. I have a live chat in Clubhouse and got to interact with a beautiful woman who really had healed her body because she has an open throat. She had been using her thyroid, her throat, overusing her voice as an open throat being. And all she did was stop talking until somebody else created a conversation. You know what I mean? The healing within her entire body to adhere to waiting to use her voice when her sacral lit up, when she was in response to her body. So she
So it's
waited
listening to but how does she know that was the case? Like, how would somebody know that?
because she started her experiment, and she started
Okay.
waiting to speak only when she got that hit, that sacral lit up, and she knew that that there was resonance in her voice, right? Before, she was just having pressure to speak just to speak, right? because
Right.
that's what happens with these open centers. They're here to get where we gain our wisdom. So her wisdom was to really claim her sacral, right, her response mechanism,
Mhm.
and stop talking for just the sake of talking. And she healed her thyroid by just
So in essence, it does have some connection to expressing in the outer body, right?
yes, it's physical body mechanics. If we're
Yeah.
not living our and surrendering to what that vital, especially for a generator, right?
Hmm.
She's this example, she's started listening and responding correctly with her spirit consciousness and didn't get overwhelmed by the pressure to just speak for the sake of speaking.
Right.
And she had been doing it her whole entire life, right? And so now, once this experiment started, the healing in the body took place because there was somebody uh like I had described the thyroid and all of that, and everything started to heal. So I mean,
That's amazing.
this is interesting, isn't it? Don't you?
Absolutely. Totally amazing. And what came to mind is, how do people who love to sing, how does that area connect to their, let's say, their passion of singing?
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, there's so many layers to human design. The first thing that comes to mind when you talk about the singing is there's a channel that is a channel of talent, and it's over there on the left side, and that would be, maybe they have this channel of talent where they're able to practice the same song over and over again to get the beautiful resonance that comes. So it's discipline. So
That's it.
maybe they're singing because they have the channel of talent. Who knows? I'd have to look at the chart and say, oh, where's your singing come from? It could come from your abstract because anything over there on the right, as an emotional being, you're this artistic, abstract being who wants to create. You're a creative being as an emotional person, right?
So hold that thought
Okay.
before you give my whole life story away. I'm just
Oh, I
kidding.
love it. I love it.
We're going to take another short commercial break, and we'll be right back to learn more about me.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Minna.
We're the hosts of Chronically Healthy Life.
Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time on Vitality TV to see how we flip the idea of chronic on its head and create chronic health in our bodies, minds, finances, and relationships, right here on E360 TV.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Okay, so you mentioned before about finding the talent, right? We can get that information from this. Can you expand on that a little bit? Like, because that's
Well,
a lot.
it ties into that question. Let's go back to that question, and maybe I can tie it into that question in a beautiful way. What was that? How does human design help
Uh,
us, or what was it
I
again?
forgot, this one here.
Yeah. Can you share some real life examples or success stories of individuals who have embraced their human design centers and experienced positive transformation in their lives? Okay, so let's do the emotional center. Let's do this gorgeous center over there on the right? You are an emotional being. What does that mean? Okay, let's contrast it with me. Okay, I am a non-emotional being, and I'm amplifying your emotional juice. I can feel it, like you're helping me feel juicy and animated and like um in life, passionate, creative, because this center is going into my openness. But you get me over by myself when I'm walking alone, guess what? I'm going to be pretty even. I'm going to be pretty dry. I'm not going to be that one that's going to give you the jokes or anything. I'm pretty logical and I'm pretty dry. Does that make sense?
And then I come along and I spark you up.
Yeah, and you're sparking me up.
I love it.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Because the left side of the body is the logical, very yeah, I just want to say logical, you know, this before that, and you know, that kind of thing. And then the right side is this like juicy, passionate, artistic, creative, right? And so when we have a being who has all of that, guess what? You are so attractive. So attractive. So the rule of thumb is you wait. You wait for that somebody's giving you an invitation. So say you're courting and you have a man courting you. Guess what? You're the being that can make him wait, and he'll just want you more. Does that make sense? You're never gonna miss out on the opportunity, because emotional beings are absolutely attractive. You have the priority to wait. You will not lose out on any of those opportunities. Okay.
So and going into my next question here, which is beautiful, what you just said, take me out of the picture, but for the people that have the same design, when we look into relationships or career paths or personal growth, because they have this high energy, right?
So in what ways can human design, what was the question? In what ways can human design centers provide insight into relationships? Yeah. So we just described an emotional being and a non-emotional being, and how dynamic that is, how dynamic and beautiful that is. To have an emotional being come in and light up the room, you know?
And so, and that gives the, what am I looking for? That transforms to like a healthy mind, healthy body, right? Vibrant, continue to revolve, continue to grow, look ways to continue growing.
Absolutely. And again, it's if you honor that, because think about the opposite. Think about an emotional being, because I'm telling you, it's one of the most important aspects of human design, understanding the emotional wave. Whew, I get a hit on that, because emotional beings, if they're not honoring that wait time and they're pushing through in a very uncomfortable wave, that uncomfortable stoicness, right? You know, I'm going to do it because, and I'm not going to show anybody my emotions, right?
Yeah.
Disciplined, and I'm just going to do this, right? Well, that tone, that emotional tone, is getting impacting the other 50% of the planet who are absorbing that, you know, and amplifying that frequency out and back to them. It's like a mirror. That's what it is, a mirror. So we are fully responsible. Emotional beings are incredibly responsible for the emotional tone that's out in the world, and to honor that mechanics, and to add in a relationship. So in a relationship, an emotional being is in a funk, right? In a place where,
absolutely.
guess what? It's time to take a break. It's time to go rejuvenate. It's time to go self-care, to soothe that emotional body, to come into a place of alignment that feels good, you know. And
so, would this ever change? Or
the
is it,
chart,
yeah, like from being an emotional being to not?
right? The chart that you see, your chart, will always stay the same. My chart, I'm born with the chart and will die with the same chart. There's cycles, you know, we
Oh,
have
so,
different impacts, but
yeah.
the natal chart, we call it the natal chart based on your birth time, date, and location, never changes. It stays the same.
So is it safe to say that this is, you may get a different picture when you do a different chart?
What?
So you say this is the chart with my birthday when I was born.
Yes.
So is there another chart that is for now, the present moment?
There are, yes, you can get the chart for today. It's called a transit, like what's happening today on
Right.
the planet, kind of like astrology. You can also get your solar return, like what is your theme for the year, right?
Okay.
You can also get connection charts where you're using your partner and you're overlaying the charts together to see how they impact each other. Yeah, there's
So
different
this
ways
is like
to.
a life story. At the end of the day, when you get them, bring more together, you can actually have a good picture of where you were with, and then with your life experiences, where you are.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to aim to connect more to your true purpose and where you should be, in essence, which kind of like leads to my next question. How can individuals use their knowledge of human design centers to make decisions that align with their true purpose and bring them closer to living an authentic life?
Yeah, I think that the theme throughout the show tonight has been that honoring our true self and listening to the body and trusting and surrendering into our spirit consciousness. And all that this is doing, human design, all that this is doing is giving you validation of who you truly are and giving you permission to relax into your true essence, into your true self, into what makes you tick, you know? And so for me, it's being in it, you know? I have the channel of discovery. And so this is for art's sake, you know, like being in the moment, trusting that what we are doing right now, being in it, lights me up, you know? It's a channel of discovery. And
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
yeah, trusting in that energy to bring me to the right people, places, and things, because it's right out of the sacral. The generator, who you are a generator when you have this red square. Yeah, and so anything that moves you in spirit consciousness and lights you up comes from that place, comes from the sacral place as a generator.
And I have to say, from my own experience, following that wisdom, following, my true self and following my heart. I mean, it's like not going against the life force, but going with it and flowing with it. And I've only practiced this in the last 3 years. I'm going to be honest. And, you know, it's a whole different life. It's a whole
Wow.
different life because I'm able to connect with people, not just with the mind and what do you know, and this is what I know, but it's connecting to our hearts with others and the fulfillment and the joy that comes from that. That is my medicine versus vitamins and everything else that we take. It just fills my heart with joy. It makes me happy when I'm able to, help others authentically. Like
Yeah.
I not
And when you are in alignment with with all of what you just said, you make an incredible impact. You make an incredible impact because look at how much definition you have in your design. You are here for the other. You are here to help us. You have the channel of leadership. You have a very consistent and reliable mind that is here to guide us. Do you see all this? This is a lot. This is you in alignment is so powerful. And
but I also feel that everyone else has it, but there's too much noise and can't see it. Is that a wrong statement to say? Because I really feel, I can connect with a lot of people, but I also see where they are was where I was. And until I surrendered, I would not be here where I am today. So, and that's what I teach people is how to surrender, because there is something greater than us that will lead us into the direction of our heart, right? Lead us to the light if we allow it to.
Yeah, but I just love how you underestimate your design, and that's the open ego here. That's that open ego. So it's balanced out with this open ego. This is of self-worth. Am I worthy? Am I doing enough? That's you. Yeah. Am I worthy? Am I doing enough?
Which center is that?
This is called the heart center or the ego center.
The brown?
So all of that power that I just talked about is balanced out with this, am I doing enough? Am I worthy? Right? Am I good enough? All of that. This is the place of wisdom. I love it. Yeah, it's hard.
And that's what people are asking themselves, basically, and really what keeps them stuck, right? Because they are good enough. They do have it within them.
Yep.
And, I'll say it again, they need to get out of their own way. I needed to get out of my own way.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. I love you. And this is what makes you so beautiful. This open ego center, because it's balance. It's that heart that we talked about. It's that knowing what's of value and seeing what's incredible. And I don't mean to bring you on the spot, but it's so helpful for people to understand that we are all unique individual beings and differentiated. And our chart has genetic continuity. And you cannot have isolating one center and this center and say this is the answer. It's not. It's all cohesive. It comes together in this beautiful picture of being human.
That's it.
I just get so excited. I get so passionate about human design. So,
and we know that this planet could be a better place if people tap into this energy.
Yeah.
Right. But it's something that we have to either we learn it because it comes across us, or we use other people to help us tap into it.
Oh, guidance. Yes.
And get guidance. And I think, you do it in your own unique way. I do it in my own unique way. But at the end, it's what has not been taught to us.
Oh, it's just coming. It's just coming into knowing that we have the answers. It comes from inside out. Yeah, it's not outside of us.
And that's exactly, we'll bring it to a landing, the show to a landing, but that's exactly what, we're trying to communicate. And we want people to know and educate and become aware of that we need to work from the inside out.
Yeah.
Everything is from the inside out.
Yeah.
And we're looking for answers from the outside. And, the answers that you need to why you're stuck, how you feel, how can you feel better, all lay within you, because those are your answers.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And, we're here to help people. I think that's at the end of the day, to bring this information out is to let people know you're not alone. We're here to help. And reach out. And how can someone reach out to you, Sarah? If someone needs to reach to you, how can they reach you?
My website, tagrowan.com, is great. You just go to the human design page, and there's a Calendly or a booking link in there, and we can do a 60-minute loving your design reading, and that's a foundation. That's the place to start, to understand your aura type, your inner authority, and to really get a grasp on what is pulling the mind, away from the inner knowing, that is so
Beautiful.
helpful.
I so appreciate you. I am so happy and grateful that you came on and you shared this valuable information to my audience. I know it's life changing once you know what's going on inside and how you can, let that guide you. And so again, I am grateful and I can't wait to have you back again. But
All right. I would love that.
yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll
Thank you
see
for
you
having
next
me.
time. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change with Gigi.